South Africa's ongoing battle against corruption is facing renewed scrutiny as fresh questions emerge over delays in one of the country's most high-profile healthcare investigations, a case that involves billions of rand, politically connected individuals, and growing public concern about whether justice is being applied evenly. At the center of the controversy is Hangwani Maumela, a businessman implicated in the Tembisa Hospital corruption probe, who remains uncharged despite findings by the Special Investigating Unit linking him to a network of irregular procurement transactions. The case, which revolves around an estimated 2 billion rand in alleged misused public funds, has become a symbol of the broader challenges facing South Africa's anti-corruption efforts. According to investigators, the scale of irregularities uncovered is significant. The Special Investigating Unit reviewed more than 1,700 procurement records and found that over 900 transactions showed signs of irregular conduct, raising serious concerns about systemic failures within the hospital's financial management processes. These findings, while detailed and extensive, have yet to translate into formal criminal charges, a delay that is increasingly drawing attention from both political figures and the public. Justice Minister Maumela has addressed the matter, explaining that the delay is linked to the legal process of converting investigative material into admissible evidence that can withstand scrutiny in court. The information gathered by investigators must meet the evidentiary standards required for prosecution, she said, adding that the process is necessary to ensure that any eventual case is strong and capable of securing a conviction. While this explanation reflects the realities of complex legal proceedings, it has done little to calm concerns about the pace of accountability. Critics argue that in cases involving such large sums of public money, delays risk undermining public confidence in the justice system. When cases of this magnitude take too long to reach court, it raises questions about whether the system is working as it should, one analyst noted, highlighting the delicate balance between thorough investigation and timely action. The situation is further complicated by the political sensitivity of the case. Maumela's familial connection to Cyril Ramaphosa has inevitably drawn public attention, intensifying scrutiny and raising concerns about the perception of fairness. While there is no confirmed evidence of interference, the optics of the case have become a point of debate, particularly in a country where trust in institutions remains fragile. Parliamentary voices have also entered the discussion. Economic Freedom Fighters MP Rebecca Mohale has pressed for clarity on the status of the case, questioning why progress appears slow despite the extensive findings of the investigation. Her intervention reflects a broader demand for transparency and accountability, particularly in cases involving politically exposed individuals. Adding to the complexity are reported links between entities associated with Maumela and businesses connected to Vusimuzi Maklala, a figure already facing serious allegations in separate investigations. These connections suggest that the case may form part of a wider network of procurement irregularities, further increasing the stakes for investigators and prosecutors. In response to the findings, the Asset Forfeiture Unit has taken steps to preserve assets believed to be linked to the investigation, including properties and high-value vehicles. This move is seen as an important interim measure aimed at preventing the potential dissipation of assets while the legal process continues. However, asset preservation alone does not constitute accountability in the eyes of the public. Freezing assets is one step, but people want to see prosecutions, a governance expert observed, capturing a sentiment that is widely shared. Accountability is ultimately tested in a court of law. The broader implications of the case extend beyond the individuals involved. The alleged misuse of funds at Tembisa Hospital has direct consequences for healthcare delivery, affecting resources that were intended to support medical services, infrastructure, and patient care. In a system already under pressure, such losses can have far-reaching effects. When money meant for healthcare is diverted, the impact is immediate and real, a public health advocate stated. It affects equipment, staffing, and ultimately the quality of care that patients receive. This reality underscores why the case has resonated so strongly. It is not only about financial misconduct, but about the integrity of public service delivery and the protection of resources that are critical to the well-being of citizens. As the investigation moves forward, attention is now focused on the National Prosecuting Authority, which must determine whether the available evidence meets the threshold for prosecution. This decision will be pivotal, not only for the outcome of this case, but also for the broader message it sends about the state's commitment to tackling corruption. Legal experts caution that building a prosecutable case in complex financial investigations requires time and precision. You need evidence that is not just compelling, but legally sound, one legal analyst explained. If a case collapses in court, it undermines the entire process. Yet the challenge remains clear. Time is necessary, but time also tests trust, and in a country where corruption has repeatedly impacted public institutions, maintaining that trust is essential. As South Africa continues to navigate this case, the expectation is not just for progress, but for visible, measurable accountability. The
The public is watching closely, not only for outcomes, but for the process itself, seeking assurance that justice is being pursued with fear or favor. In the end, this case represents more than a single investigation. It is a measure of institutional strength, a test of legal integrity, and a reflection of the country's broader commitment to accountability. Because when billions are at stake and public services are affected, the standard cannot be ordinary. It must be absolute.